our state is disappearing. A football field-sized area vanishes every 38 minutes. 217 square miles of coastal land and wetlands became open water after Katrina. Every 2.7 to 4 miles of lost marsh brings a 1-foot rise in storm surge. This is the map that we present to a lot of the congressmen when they come. And they can see the projected amount of land loss that will occur in the next 20 years if we don't start doing something to save this coastline. So this is a security risk. It's a homeland security risk. There's 2 million people that are vulnerable because of the vanishing wetlands. And we really leave the congressman with a sense of urgency. This needs to be addressed immediately. The wetlands are eroding, and we need to have some sustainable revenue that is provided every single year in order for the engineers to come in and start rebuilding our coastline. So, September 30th, Louisiana overwhelmingly passed a constitutional amendment establishing a trust fund to receive and protect federal revenue dedicated to rebuilding offshore land. This is another very important issue that we stress: accountability and transparency, because there's so many negative ideas about Louisiana in Congress, and the Louisiana Recovery Authority is so determined to be accountable in the money that they receive, so we will continue to receive more money. The individuals that are on the Louisiana Recovery Authority have our greatest respect because they have put together plans that document every single dime that the federal government will receive. And they've had numerous accounting firms that back up their figures. They have some of the best consulting firms in the world advising them. And they've really put together a very, very good plan. So, if anyone would like to help, if anyone would like to get involved, please know that you are so welcome. Our group has expanded from 130 women to 350,000 women across the country. We have national groups like the National Council of Jewish Women, the United Way Women's Initiative, the Junior League of America, all the junior leagues, and the Links organization. So if we find that a particular congressman in a particular state is giving us a lot of trouble or making a lot of negative comments, then we will contact those organizations in that state for them to call their congressman and put pressure on them. And we are in the process of inviting all the wives of the governors of Alabama and Mississippi come women of the storm, so they can urge their husbands, the governor, to recommend that we receive some percentage of oil and gas revenue. We found that women have the ability to say to a lot of things that men can't really say, and I think that when, like I said before, when a woman starts talking about her house and the threat of her home, that really people listen to this. I mean, it's almost kind of a primal reaction, so we would love for anyone to get involved. We have our own website now, www.womenofthestorm.net. A small group of the executive committee is going to be going up to Washington in second week of November after the November 7th elections, and really having hour-long meetings with Pelosi and Hastert and maybe even some of the members of the administration in order to see if we can push this bill on oil and gas revenue through the lame duck session. So this would give Louisiana a revenue stream that we feel help us rebuild our coastline and give us greater flood protection. So that's basically my talk. I mean, if anyone would like to ask me any questions or... the whole organization is bipartisan. We don't really discuss the Republican and Democratic views. We really know that our main influence is the fact that we are non-political and we don't have a political agenda. So we're not really teaming up Democrats and Republicans. It's more of a thrust to talk about what's going on in Louisiana. We do find out exactly what members of Congress sit on the Appropriations Committee, sit on the Energy Committee, committees that we feel can have an instrumental part in our redevelopment. And we will isolate those individuals and go after them. And there's about 8 women on the executive committee, and usually one of those women will be with another woman to go to those isolated individuals. And then there are women that have stronger contacts with certain congressmen in a particular state when we first went up there in January, we met with Al Hubbard, who is Bush's economic domestic advisor. And the only reason he gave us the appointment was because we were bringing Olivia Manning with us, and he wanted to hear about Peyton and Eli. So we go into his office, and he says, "Now tell me about Peyton, tell me about Eli." So she gives him a little, they're doing so well, they're just doing great. And the next thing you know, after she finished, we said, "Okay, now, we need some sustainable revenue in our state." And there are so many individuals who are out of their homes, and you need to talk to President Bush about listening to us and making sure that we have money for people to rebuild their homes. And so we had a good 30-minute appointment with him, and we never could have gotten in if it hadn't been for Olivia. And that was we used any method we could when we went up there in January to really, because of course a lot of them thought, who is this group coming up? And we get off our buses and we're all carrying umbrellas and we're storming up Capitol Hill, and there was a tremendous amount of skepticism in the beginning. Tremendous, but I think the fact that we weren't ballistic and we weren't insulting. I mean, we were showing Southern charm, and I think it won them over. I really do. But we don't get that involved in political, and we stress to the ladies not to have your own agenda. This is not what it's about at all. I mean, if you want to support, a certain institution or a certain cause, please don't bring it up in this meeting. This is not why we're here. We've had companies donate money so we can fly 130 women up there, and with no cost. The airline is donated. Everything is donated. So it's really their fiduciary to go in there and give us, the Women of the Storm feel.